Welcome to this week's episode of the Women's Strength Sessions. I'm Lori Mazikas, and today we're talking about the good woman trap, the invisible cage that so many women fall into without ever noticing until one day they wake up and realize they've lost so much of themselves inside of it. Let's get this conversation started. So, what is a good woman? A good woman is the version of womanhood we're taught to perform but not live. She is a selfless but never resentful, strong but never too much, supportive but never needy, accommodating, agreeable, nurturing, pleasant, and always putting her needs second or just plain old last. It really sounds admirable. It sounds like you're a very giving, compassionate person. And that's exactly why it works, because none of those qualities are bad, but they can become the only definition of your worth. And that's when it's a toxic dynamic that really puts women at risk for losing who they are. The good woman trap works because the goalposts never stay still. You can be independent, but not so independent that you intimidate a man. You need to have boundaries, but not ones that inconvenience or disappoint or upset anybody else. Speak up, don't be a doormat, but don't make anybody else uncomfortable by what you have to say. Take care of yourself, but also don't you dare stop taking care of everyone else. And God forbid you ask for help, because that would make you needy. Be successful, but not so successful that anyone else feels insecure. The problem with the trap is that it's no matter what you do, the bar shifts. Someone's always got something to say about your authority and your authenticity as a woman. You can never quite hit the mark. Maybe that's because the mark was never meant to be hit at all. The trap is powerful because it's rooted in praise. You get rewarded for shrinking and being quiet. You get affirmed for self abandoning and taking care of everyone else but yourself. People will call you amazing, strong, selfless, the ride or die, but you're quietly burning out behind the scenes, and no one really cares or is paying attention to that. The thing is, it feels like love. It feels like approval to be told that you're selfless, that you're giving, that you're nurturing, when it's actually conditioning you to shrink and absorb everyone else's needs before paying attention to your own. Over time, you forget who you are. You forget what you want. You forget what you like. You forget your needs. You forget even what your limits are or what your voice truly sounds like. You start living a life on everyone else's terms, trying to meet everyone else's expectations of you. You become the emotional shock absorber, the peacekeeper, the over functioner, and everyone relies on you, but not necessarily in a healthy way. You hold the relationships, the schedules, the household, the feelings, and you tell yourself it's normal because you're trying to be a good woman. If you're listening and wondering if this is you, here are some signs to look out for. You feel guilty when you rest. You apologize for your needs. You make yourself smaller or quieter or just disengaged to keep the peace. You take responsibility for other people's reactions, their disappointment, their anger, their expectations. You don't ask for help because you're scared of being a burden to someone. You're exhausted, but you keep saying, I'm fine. You wonder why no one ever checks on you. No one ever seems to see you or care. You're praised for being strong, but no one ever really considers that you're struggling. If that hit, that's the trap talking. Being a good woman doesn't exist, but it certainly wasn't ever meant to cost you yourself and your identity. You don't need to earn your worth through sacrifice. You don't need to be palatable to be loved. And you don't need to shrink to make anyone else feel comfortable. The truth is, the world doesn't need more good women that are compliant, that are like clay, that to be molded and grown into a certain image and then criticized because that image isn't perfect. The world needs more free women who own their autonomy, who use their voice to speak up for themselves and for each other, who are put their needs at a hierarchy at the top so that they can give more of themselves because they've filled their own cups. The world needs women, women who are free from the chains of an impossible image, women who speak truth, women who talk and walk with authority and kindness and compassion. We know how to do that. Women who own their worth, their voice, and their experiences and do not need validation from the outside world. The world needs our truth because we are the bearers of life to this world. We are powerful, we are valuable, and we matter. So does our voice, so do our needs, and so do our experiences. So I invite you to wake up and to start to choose yourself more. In the next episode, we'll explore how that awakening begins and what to expect as you find yourself more and more. So please like and subscribe to be the first to know when the next session premieres. And until then, I'm Laurie Mazikas, and I really hope this episode helped you find a little more strength and power inside of you. Take care.